Hey friends, we're here together again. Bonus session, guys. Woo! All right, who's excited for this? I'm not here by myself. I got my good friend, Mr. Peter Stout here. Peter, how are you doing?
Good. Glad to be here for this last little extra bonus session. It's always good to see you guys again, and yeah, glad the class isn't over just yet.
Yeah, super fun, you guys. Glad that you're here. I see people answering with a, let's see. Oh, nice. Okay, good, perfect. Hey, never too late. It's the first one that you made live. That's awesome. I'm so glad about that. Hey, oh, whoops. Good morning. Yeah, this one will be on. I was trying to get this one. I'm going to start calling you Brian, man.
Who's Brian?
I think it's just that's typo. Peter over there. That's Peter. That's Peter. But
it's just a typo or
Laura,
something.
We're glad that you are here, and I might just start calling Peter Brian now. Who knows?
No, don't do that.
Okay. Well, we're glad to be here, guys. This is gonna be super fun. The reference photo Peter has got a link, I believe, on. Is it pinned in the chat or is it down in the description?
It's in the description.
Okay, so if you just kind of scroll underneath the video, you'll see the link to the image there. We didn't have a spot. I was trying to put it on the dashboard somewhere, but there's no room. There's no page empty to put it. So we're just gonna drop it here in the description.
Yes.
And it's also in the email that was sent out. If you were registered for this masterclass, it will have come to you in an email this morning, just a little bit ago.
Yes, and I can drop the link in chat a little bit. So
cool, because I think that's it right there.
Yep.
So if you're in the chat, look for that thing right there and click it. It'll take you to the image. Now the image is kind of a black and white image. I'm going to be kind of playing off the idea that, hey, we can make up some colors and stuff like that. So
nice.
It's gonna be a good time.
Do you want to show the reference photo?
Yeah, I guess I could. Let me see. Let's see. Oh, I can do this the easy way. Here we go. Let's go like this. There it is. There's the reference photo.
Yeah, there we go.
So again, it's a kind of a forest path, and you got some. It's actually from the Epic Art Adventure video that I did. I took so many reference photos on that, and this was one of them. I cropped in a little bit just to try to come up with a scene that I liked. I'm actually going to change some things, like there's that tree right in the middle in the back that I like the idea of it, but I want it to be lighter and I want it to be angled differently and I want it to be smaller. So I'm making a few design changes, but the general composition is going to be pretty much what you see here. So, yep, that's the ticket right there. So I guess I can go like this.
Yeah.
And we can look at this, because what I did, guys, is, of course, white panel. I drew out kind of the design in yellow first, and then I came back and did it with black. And now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to actually put on some color and then kind of play with the color a little bit, because I might do a couple coats of various kind of washes. So it's good to see you all.
Yeah.
Glad that you're here. Okay, the link works. Good. Hey, shout out any questions you have. We'll try to answer questions along the way. I'm going to get started here. What color should I put on there as a background? Any ideas, people?
I don't know. It's black and white, so there's no psychological influence.
No, I
Could
know.
really be anything.
Yeah, I know. I just need to. This was what happened the other day. I was doing something. I was looking around. I couldn't find my. I usually have about 4 or 5 fluid acrylics right next to me, but the only one that I have right now is this transparent red iron oxide, which is good
Ooh.
color. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna
Also-
say could do like
What-
the liquid gold or whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't have that
This
one.
is a very similar color to that. It's not quite as golden, but it's pretty similar. I'm going to do it. Let's go like that.
Awesome.
So this is just straight fluid acrylics. And I have not even put water or anything like that. I think I've got a little bit of dark pigment somehow on my brush, or maybe it's picking up. Oh, that's what it is. It's picking up a little bit of this from something that I, yeah. So that's okay. Once this dries, it'll change that, but I'm not going to mess with it too much because of that. So I'm going to let it dry here. And I'll mute myself so you guys don't have to hear me. Peter, maybe.
Great.
What was that?
I said that'd be great.
Yeah. What size canvas? Peter, you can answer that while I do this.
I can. It should be a 12 by 12, right? I think.
That's right. That's totally right.
All right. I passed the test. Will there be a replay later? Yes. Yes, there will be a replay later. Let's see. Oh no, this is Donna in Indiana, and I'm on my way to Italy with brother and sister. Woohoo, be back in 12 days. Lucky you, man. That sounds fun. I've asked this question multiple times and have not gotten an answer. Please explain the preference for using a square canvas rather than a rectangle one for landscape paintings. Thanks for your question, Rose. Sorry I haven't been able to get to it. What would you say, Jed?
There's not really a preference. It's actually, you make decisions that are practical and pragmatic. I should say I make decisions that are practical and pragmatic a lot of times. And square canvas allows space on the screen for a palette and a reference photo. And that's honestly one of the big reasons. I used to do 12 by 16s more, and it worked okay, but the painting would be smaller, and because I had to fit things in different places. So anyways, that's kind of the main reason, honestly. Okay, but that's a good question, because the photo, of course, is more of a rectangle. So, I mean, not the one that you have, because I cropped it, but the original.
Chrissy, are you planning on a backlit sunshine streaming through the trees vibe?
Kind of, but more. I think I'm gonna keep a little bit more of the kind of like the side light, like it's going to be coming more, not directly from behind. I'm putting on some quinacridone red here just to add in a little bit more crazy color. No, I wanted to get a little bit more color. I wanted to get another coat of something on here too, because I'm also thinking about like did I say coat? I just mean I want to get another layer so that I have, I'm looking for some phthalo green here really quickly. Let me see if I can find some. Here we go. See if this works. Oh, wow. Got so much. I knew it'd pick up something there, but Didn't anticipate it quite as much as it did.
Wow. Yeah. Will this bonus lesson be available in the membership? Yes. We'll make sure the replay gets uploaded there. Is Peter Stout from Indianapolis? I'm not. I'm from, I don't know, Missouri, I guess. For a time. Do you?
Been
Someone
around a
asked.
little bit.
Yeah, I have. Someone asks, oh, do you frame the panel or do you just sell it as is normally?
Usually just sell it as it is. That's why I like these panels, is that you don't really have to frame them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Do you usually, or do you use Smooth DaVinci Adjustable Board usually? Yeah, Jen Diana picked it up, I don't know, a little over a year ago, probably. They love it.
Yeah, it's been a couple years for me, and I really do prefer it now. Just kind of easy. It costs a little bit more on the front end, but because I used to buy panels, just normal linen panels, which I also liked a lot. They're Centurion linen panels. I got that idea from John Poon, who used those, and then I used those for years. Loved them. They're great. The surface is nice. They're not super textured, but it's got a little bit of texture. The problem was that I have to frame them, and for me, framing is okay. It's not a big deal, but you have to deal with the frame, like you have to store frames, or try to protect them. I always found that I'd mess the frame up. I'd get a ding on the frame or something like that often. And then you feel like you might not want to sell the frame. So you're kind of dealing with something that's a little bit more complicated. So I just realized that I didn't have to frame them. And that's why I like these wood panels so much. I feel like if the person who buys it wants to frame it, they have the option to, and they can choose the frame that they like.
That's cool. How do you finish the sides?
I don't. I just leave them.
Yep.
You don't have to do things my way. I just do things like kind of the easiest way possible. But I like the way that the wood looks.
Yeah. Some of it's preference, some of it's practicality, but you guys are free to figure out your own, what works for you. What do you enjoy?
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. I know that for some of you, you might not have had this drawn out or anything like that. So you might want to come back to this if you're trying to paint along, and you might need to slow it down a little bit or something. So I understand, but I did just give you a little bit of time to catch up because I was getting paint out, cleaning my palette. So one thing that I want to do in this painting, and as I was thinking about it beforehand, I kind of want to make it graphic. I don't always know the word to use. That's the only thing that can come into my mind right now. It's something that I've done quite a bit, but it's like kind of why in some of these places I put on these lines and kind of separated areas, because I was just thinking, what could I do? I don't know, it's just a little bit more stylized. And so that's kind of what I'm going to do right now is go through, I'm going to vary the colors here and there. And I'm going to try to kind of use an idea of distinct shapes. So it'll probably end up looking a little different than if you were doing a more traditional approach. So when I do it like this, you can see that I'm just mixing different, they're kind of similar values, but just different shades, different hues of color. And I'm grabbing them and putting them in as it seems like maybe they would work. But I'm trying to be thoughtful about the placement of them. Okay, Chrissy says, do you ever feel stuck in a style and afraid to experiment because people know you for a very distinct look? Well, personally, I don't, because I listened to C.W. Mundy, who I asked him that exact question. And I said, like, this was early on, like my first year of being a full-time artist. And I said, do you think that I should develop a style and stick with it? Because I brought into him to look at a number of paintings, but they were all really different. Like there were probably 3 paintings that I brought in for him to look at, to kind of give him an idea, maybe 5, I don't know. But it felt like they weren't really related in my mind. And I was wondering what he thought of that. And like, I was kind of thinking he might give me advice on which of the styles did he think I should go with. That was, I think, part of my reason for wanting to get together. And in the end, he said, I don't think it's bad to switch styles. And then he showed me all these different paintings from different points in his career and how drastically different they looked. And it just gave me permission. I just felt like he gave me permission to not worry about that and to say, you know what, I'm the artist and I can determine kind of what I want to paint and what I want it to look like. And he said, he never had any real problems with that. Like his collectors were able to embrace the different styles. And so anyways, yeah, I mean, I think a question that a lot of artists wrestle with and struggle with. But I don't think it has to be, and you might get totally different opinions from somebody else.
Yeah.
But for me, it was a big relief because I get bored. I get really bored with doing the same thing over and over.
You mind if I weigh in on this a little bit, Jed?
No, go ahead.
So I've done a lot of stuff on YouTube, on Instagram, and that kind of thing. And I think it depends on what your goals are and I guess what kind of person you are, because without a doubt, across all social media platforms, if you focus on one very specific thing, you will have a much easier time than if you post 50 different things. So if you're talking from a perspective of I want to use social media, I want to do, market my work online, you will have a much easier time selling paintings if you come up with a very recognizable style that speaks to a specific kind of person. That doesn't mean that. So it's a trade-off, right? Like Jed said, he gets bored if he sticks to one thing, and that's totally fine. So it kind of comes to that self-awareness of like, what are your goals and what do you want to do, right? Like, are you able to make one Instagram account where you focus on one very specific style and kind of paint whatever else you want offline, right? So just depends on what you want to do.
That's a good point. And I think it depends how, because I mean, the big thing I think that is true about what you're saying is that people, well, you have to be consistency. I'm wondering, Peter, I'm wondering what that looks like in, man, that's very interesting. I'm just wondering, because there's consistency on two different levels, right? Like there's consistency with just putting out the content, right?
Yeah.
Putting things out there. And then there's the consistency of what does it look like?
Yes.
And I'm wondering, where is okay, you know how there are art accounts that post lots of different artists' work?
Yeah.
And they're all different kinds of art?
Yeah.
But the accounts can grow really big.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So how do you think that, how does that relate with this? Because they might post 3 times a day or 5 times a day or something, because they're just drawing from endless supply of artists. It seems like,
Right.
People will be like, oh, hey, I posted your painting on my Art Life Daily, Instagram account. And then you go and it's they post at least every day, but they post something all the time. And they might have lots of followers.
Right.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts on that?
The thing that you'll find with those accounts is they might have a lot of followers, but they tend not to have a lot of engagement. So you'll see there's no emotional attachment from any of the people who follow it to the specific account, right? They're just kind of more the casual, oh, I like cool art. These people post cool art. But you're not going to build a collector base who wants you by doing that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you, Jed, even though you do experiment quite a bit, you still have a super recognizable style. And I think that's helped you out a lot for sure.
Yeah, it's I think what's interesting is I think my paintings look different, but I think sometimes people don't think they look that different.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, it is interesting to me.
Yes. And not to get too into the weeds, but on an algorithmic level, if the algorithm has a much harder time figuring out who to recommend your stuff to on all social media platforms if you're posting a huge variety of content. It's much easier if you're really niche down, because they know, okay, you paint pet portraits. I send this to people who like pets, right? Or like paintings of pets, right? It's very easy for the algorithm to figure out who to give your stuff to. But if you're posting all over the place, it's a lot harder.
That's interesting. But it makes sense. It does. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Stephanie says you're not going for Instagram success. You're going for success with your paintings. Artists need to experiment to grow. Exactly. That's why it just takes so much self-awareness, and it's a dangerous tightrope to walk, right? And also you don't ever have to lock yourself into a box. You can change things up and reinvent yourself whenever you want. You could make one account where you're experimenting with stuff for years and years and then decide, okay, I really want to give this a shot, move over, do a specific style on a different account. The world is your oyster. You're not locked into something just because you've done it before.
Yeah. Well, and it's you asked the question earlier, like, what is your goal or where are you at? You know, like, I think
Yeah.
that's a big part of it, because I agree generally with what I can't remember who just said that. I agree. At the same time, when I started in art, I was 40 years old, had a wife and a daughter, and I needed to make money. And it was very much like, how can I provide for my family? Because
Yeah.
I could just sit in my studio and explore, painting my own style and like, who am I, and be super, super artistic that way. But and that's awesome. Like, it's super awesome. But I had this really practical need to make money. Like, I mean, it was just, I either make money this week and we survive, or I don't, and I can't be an artist. And, so I feel like it really does come down to where are you at and what is your goal? Like, and what I mean is that at some times, I mean, you do have to, I believe in the general principle, like, you need to be who you are, and you can't pander to, like, one platform or try an imaginary collector, like, oh, what would somebody want me to paint today? Like, I mean, you really need to paint from your heart and all that. And do what you think. But it is such a, like, you can also be super strategic, and you can be dumb. You know what I mean? Like you can either go, because and for me,
it's all in relation to your goals, right? Like, you're like, I need to make money for my family, so I'm going to be strategic, right?
Exactly. And I don't mean to say dumb, but if my goal is to provide for my family and be an artist at the same time, then I need to be strategic in it, and like to think. And I use Instagram a lot, and I didn't know what I was doing exactly, but you do kind of learn some tricks along the way, like, oh, okay, like, if I post it this time of the day, it actually gets more engagement than if I do it, in the middle of the night. Like, I didn't know that it mattered when I posted this, so yeah, it's tricky. It's definitely tricky. And I feel like that's one of the things that people used to ask me about a lot, is like, I love art and I like the idea of being a professional artist, but I also am afraid that if I become a professional artist, I'll lose the joy of art, And I think that just shows that it's a different thing to like start thinking about the business side of it. And you need to go into it with your eyes open, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This is the kind of painting, guys, I'm just going to say something real quick. I get totally, like, I'll probably paint so slow today. You guys might get really bored. But this is so peaceful for me. It's just like, I don't know what it is about this, but I love this process so much. But it is kind of slow. You'll just see me taking like more time than normal.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like you have a few different approaches, and I never know what to call this approach. You like meticulously lay blocks in. It's cool.
I know. It's so different.
Nancy Higgins, have you guys thought about teaching a class on how to use Instagram and other social media platforms?
No, we've never once thought about it at all. Oh, wait, sorry. Actually, Peter. Peter's got something.
We're working on something right now. We just did a beta test, actually, for a whole platform that is trying to teach people how to market their artwork, and we do cover Instagram in there. And right now we're building up the program for a launch sometime, hopefully in the near future. But if you want to join the wait list, head to sellmore.art, and we'll keep you updated on that.
Yeah. One of the things, like, I've been really passionate in, I mean, I go in like these times of focus where I need to focus on one thing and not be doing too many different things. But like there's a big part of me that loves, like, just wants to help any artist in any way that I can who's trying to get as a professional artist, or trying to, like I look at it like there's so many different stages, and Peter did a really great job with breaking down kind of like different places you can be, in terms of your journey and what your goals are, which I think are super interesting and helpful. Because there's a difference between, where I was when I was 40 and I had a wife and a daughter at home, and I needed to make money so we could pay our mortgage and pay our rent or whatever it is, like it's just like, okay, I need to make this much money. And there's a difference between that and, maybe you want to sell your work, but you don't have that urgent thing. But it's like, hey, I want to start selling my work so that I can just like have a profitable art business. Like I know that I'm paying for my supplies and my materials, and like that is an awesome goal too, right? Like I made $2,000 this year and I spent $1,800 on my supplies. I'm just making stuff up, right? But like that's an awesome goal too. And it's like we're all in different places, and what we need is slightly different. And that's kind of what we're talking about. Like, so there was a time in my life when it was extra money for me, like, I mean, I had a job and I had income that was coming in. I've always pretty much been self-employed, but I had my own like house painting business. And then but if I sold paintings on the side, it was like, oh, cool. I made this extra money. Hey, maybe we could, go on that little trip that we were thinking about, or maybe I could buy those extra canvases that I really wanted to buy, or whatever it was. Right.
Yeah.
But what those years did for me was it gave me a lot of time to get better, and just keep practicing and keep working on becoming, better at my craft. And I think that all the stages are really important, and they're all super valid. And it doesn't need to look the same as somebody else's. Oh, it's sellmore.art, not salemore. That's so funny.
Did I misspell it? Or
No. Rebecca.
Oh,
I think.
Gotcha.
But I can't tell if that was a joke.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Peggy says, I would love to sell my art, but when do you know if your work is good enough to sell?
That's a great question. Peter, what would you say?
I'd say it's a very nuanced answer. I think it's very specific to each artist, but what I would say is it's never too early, in my opinion, to put your work out there in some form or another, whether that be hanging it on your wall or showing it to your friends or something like that. And or even posting on an Instagram account, sharing your paintings, and kind of just seeing how people react to them. Like, do you get inquiries from people on, hey, can I buy your art and stuff like that? So that's all I can really say without, any more specifics. I'd say it's a very, Doug, Very good answer. This is my opinion. It's good enough when someone wants to buy it.
Yeah, that was actually what I was thinking, is like, you pretty much know if somebody wants to buy it, then that is what it means. And that, you don't have to be super accomplished or
Yeah.
anything for somebody to want to purchase a painting, but you do kind of have to think, like, what is the context? Like, who is this person? Is it my mom who wants to buy it? Or is it like somebody that I don't know? Or is it an uncle that wants to buy it? Or, a friend, or what is it? And then you might have to weigh that a little bit. Like, okay, well, when I was a kid, I sold paintings to my friends' parents. Once a year, we would have this show. It was at our local little fair, Stanwood Camano Fair. And we had a booth there because my family was all into art growing up and everything. So we had this booth, and I would paint a few paintings and I'd put them in there. And during the fair, when we're all like middle school kids running around at the fair, my friends' parents would come by our booth as they're waiting, for their kids to do whatever they're doing. And every once in a while, one of them would buy one of my paintings. And I would be so excited, right? But it was like, okay, $10 for this little painting that I did of a wave, or, like this little landscape. But $10 or $15 to me at the time was awesome, and it was amazing, and it made me feel super. I actually think it influenced my thinking on art, because it was just like, those were some of the first paintings I ever did. And so then I made money on them. And so I thought, well, if I paint a painting, I could make money. And, but like, was I ready at that point to go start selling my work in a gallery? Well, no, obviously not. Right. Because I was just a kid, and I wasn't that good in the relative to the art world, but so again, you would have to weigh what is the situation, the context that you sold that painting. But if somebody wants to buy your painting, that's all it means to, like, you're ready to sell. Right? It just might not be that you're ready to be a full-time artist still, because you might not have everybody in the world want to buy your painting, but so that's the best indication, is if somebody wants to buy it, that people are interested, and you have a shot at selling more than just that one.
Yep. Agreed. Diana Peak, I think pricing artwork is hard. People where I live don't have an abundance of money, so I don't price my pieces too high. And I think that's good. Being flexible and aware of the selling environment that you're in is important, I think. We have one of our instructors in Selmar.art, Justin Vining, talks about this a lot more, and he's all these questions. He has some of the best advice I've ever heard. It's the most unique perspective I've probably ever heard from a professional artist on this stuff.
Yeah. He's helped me a lot at different points. And one of I don't want to go into it either too much, but there's a standard idea that can be out there about this is the way you do art. You start at this. First of all, sometimes people just will tell you to make your price like really high straight out of the gate, and it's kind of like, well, you see an artist who's just starting out and they're selling their work, and they're selling it the same price as somebody who's been painting for 20 years and is much better than them. And there's a little bit of kind of, sometimes you'll see them in the same show or something, and it doesn't really make sense, right? And what happens a lot of times is people overprice their work at the beginning, and then they feel stuck.
Yeah.
They don't know what to do, because now I've put it out there and people know that I had this price range, so you don't want to go back on it. Well, maybe it's better to start out a little bit less, build your reputation, and go from there, right? So that was one of the things that Justin showed me a long time ago, and it made a big difference for me, because he had a very refreshing viewpoint on some of this stuff, and I was like, oh. And I actually changed my pricing strategy because of a conversation I had with him, and it helped me, because that was during my first year of art, and I'd been selling my work, but it was just as a like it was just for fun more, so it didn't really matter. And then all of a sudden I raised my price again or something, and then I became a full-time artist, and he's like, well, yeah, you did that, but because I was going like, why didn't I sell more? I sold all my paintings last time, and this time I only sold a third of them. And he's like, well, you raised your price, like, what can I say? And he's like, it just made me think a lot about it. And I was like, man, I think you're right. I think that I just moved beyond where we live now, because it was all about geography and where I lived and that kind of thing. And that had made a big, I was trying to reconcile like my past life and everything, like with where I lived at that time. And so I'd raised my prices, but I'd basically like raise them like 30% or 50% or something like that. And then it just made a huge impact on how many paintings I sold. And I got to say, for me, I would much rather sell paintings than have them stay with me forever. And there's a huge psychological benefit to that. And it's a blessing to the person who gets it. And so I'm not the traditional, I have a different view now because of Justin, but I prefer it.
Oh, absolutely. And he's super flexible with his pricing. He intentionally normally doesn't work with galleries because they have clauses where you can't adjust your pricing. And so he's so flexible with his pricing in every sense, like depending on the room that he's in, depending on is it framed or is it not framed, depending on the quality of the painting itself. Like when we were talking, he'd tell me that he would sell paintings exact same size. One was twice as expensive, and they would both sell the exact same size paintings. One is twice expensive. And when his clients would ask him, hey, why is this one so expensive? And he says he'd have this whole reason of, I did a really good job with this one. It was a very important scene to me, stuff like this. Like every painting has a story. He's super intentional. He has a reason, and he's flexible. He doesn't lock himself in a corner with the way that he prices his work.
That's, I think, the most helpful part of what I got from him was not
exactly.
Like it's like you make a list. This is my price list, and that's it.
Yeah.
There's no flexibility, but it feels like you can get stuck by that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I have a question. This is kind of, if somebody wants to stay till the very, very, very end today, I would be interested in, like, I have this epic art adventure video that I created. It's just kind of a plein air fun day that I went out and I painted, but this is more like the adventure part. It's just a little bit more like what happened that day, a little bit of story, that kind of thing. And I shared it, or I gave it to the VIP people, and I was meaning to watch it with them live. They had access to it. So I think some of them, hey, is any VIP person here? Did you watch it? Did you watch it in your product? I'm curious. I was hoping that we would have time to watch it during one of our VIP sessions, but we got into such a good conversation with Diana, and just some really good questions that we ran out of time, and I didn't have the guts to extend our time another half an hour because I felt like it would have taken quite a while to go through, the way that I wanted to. So we weren't able to do it as a big group, but yeah, I'm curious if people would be interested in watching it later. Justin is a hard-working, a super hard-working
Yeah, he really is.
artist. So there are things that you have to also like I feel like the nice thing is he's the only artist that I've ever heard talk about artwork the way that he does. I've never heard anybody even, start to talk about anything like it.
Yeah.
And that's why I think it's so refreshing, but it's still the kind of thing where you have to keep everything kind of like in context, just like what we were saying before, like what's your goal, where are you at, what, all that kind of thing, because it all comes into play. And he lives in a particular place, and that's not necessarily where you live. And so
Yeah.
knowing that is super helpful and important. You kind of have to take everything that you learn from me, from anybody, and you kind of have to go, well, that's cool, but does it apply to me, or how does it apply to me?
Yes.
It might be different.
Exactly. Lots of people saying, yes, I would love to see that video. Haven't seen any VIPs say that they've seen it.
Okay.
Do you ever create G-Clay and sell those instead of or in addition to the original?
I have in the past, but I haven't done that for a pretty long time. I don't know. I have mixed feelings on it. I kind of like the idea in some ways, but
Yeah.
it's kind of complicated too. But again, that's just me. There's artists that do it a lot, and it works great for them.
I think focusing on one thing is good, especially if you're early on in your journey.
You mean like focusing on either originals or prints?
Yeah,
or that?
like pick what your strategy is, right?
Yeah.
And Justin's philosophy is he's like, I'm very clear on what I don't want to do. I don't want to do prints. I don't want to teach classes. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to paint paintings.
Yeah.
But he's definitely one of one. He's crazy.
Yeah. He's crazy in a really good way.
Yes.
Like, for real.
In the best way.
You get together with him and you spend time with him, you'll go like, this dude is passionate. He's all in on this, and it's admirable.
Yes. 100%. Someone asked this question earlier on today that I was going to ask, but I forgot. It was a really good question though. They asked, with those, like the blocks of color you're like laying down on the ground at the beginning, are you thinking of those as shapes of the landscape or blocks of dark and light?
Both. because everything is a pattern of dark and light. You know, I mean, the design of the painting is essentially made up of your darks and your lights and your midtones interacting together. And so, yeah, it's both. But sometimes I look and I'm looking at shapes, distinct shapes. But like, that's why this is kind of graphic. I was trying to describe what it like. It's not like I'm looking and I see right over here, oh, there's a block, or, you know, this. It's more like this is all kind of like there's a little stick that I see over here, and then there's some grassy stuff, and then there's some light coming across. So I'm definitely trying to pay attention more to the light and the dark. And then within the shadow areas, I'm trying to create like something that's interesting, right? Something that I think kind of portrays like what it is, or at least a little bit of the idea maybe, but it's also still very like it's not realistic, right? I mean, it's like I'm just putting a couple little vertical things here because you guys, or whoever asked that, just started me thinking about like what, you know, I need to come back down here and do a little bit more. But yeah, it's tricky. It's a little bit intuitive, like, but mostly it's light and dark, like living within the values that I have, right? And then I feel like there's quite a bit of flexibility within there to make, you know, a shape more like, you know, maybe having a little bit of variety within there, but like I don't even know. It's very unrelated to what I'm looking at sometimes, and sometimes I'm trying to grab one of the elements that I see in there. Like I might see a twig, like over here, kind of coming up, I see one twig that goes from one area over to another. So it's like, oh, okay, I could add that one twig in, you know, and maybe it goes right there. And maybe it even comes up there, right? And that might be enough for me to kind of think that, okay, it's a little bit of an interest, but I'm not looking around at every area necessarily and seeing distinct things. The things that stand out to me are sticks. If I see little shrubs, if I see rocks, like you could see, I drew in a couple of these darker rocks and a couple areas. Beyond that, it's like, how do I vary some of this color within the mid-tone if I'm working in a mid-tone area? If I'm working up here in the light, you can see that I just switched from this yellowish color to this grayish light color, but they're both light, right?
Shelly Stevens, I did the beta. Pretty awesome stuff. Good to hear. Glad you found it helpful. That's awesome.
That is.
Emily, why do you choose Mars Black versus Ivory Black? Judy Pearl answered. She says Mars Black is opaque and Ivory Black is not.
That's right. And that's pretty much the reason I do it.
Yep. Will there be a replay of this? Yes. Right here at this same link. It'll just live on the YouTube channel.
Hey, did you guys see? We just put we've had our beginner course on our site as a free course for quite a while. Like people could come and take it. And I actually just uploaded it to YouTube the other day. And it's crazy. I always get kind of a surprise when it's 2 hours, right? It's like decently long. And there's a number of people that have finished it already, because they texted me and they said, I finished the class.
Yeah, people are dedicated, man.
I know, it's super cool. I don't know why it surprises me so much, but it's like I just really did, because honestly, I don't remember what day that was, Peter. You might remember what day I told you. It's like 2 days ago. But that night, there was somebody that texted me already and said, I finished your course.
Mimi says, it's crazy, but I have trouble letting go of my paintings. I've been selling reproductions of my work at a lower price point than the originals, but I want to get over this. Any wisdom that can help?
Oh, I don't know, because I've been such a practical person. I've had to, at least in my recent life, it's a very practical part of me making a living and providing for my family. I've never had that struggle.
Yeah.
There have been a few paintings that I don't sell because I know that Renee really loves them. And so then I might give it to her, something like that. But I guess I don't know how desperate you are to sell your work. I mean, if you don't need the money, then you probably don't feel like you really need to sell it. Yeah. And I don't really know. I guess one thing that I would say is if they're just kind of like you have multiple paintings sitting around, and I would look at it like maybe that painting would be a real blessing to somebody else. Like maybe if somebody else was able to wake up and see your painting in their house, it would brighten their day. So maybe it's not for you. Maybe it is for somebody else.
Good word. Sue says, what do you do when you get too many paintings that haven't sold yet? Does it make sense to sell them much cheaper? I'll let Jed weigh on this after. One thing that I would say, it depends on your context. I think Justin talks a lot about being very intentional with the language that you use if you have any sort of following about how you talk about your art. Like he's very adamantly like, don't say things like discounting my artwork, clearance sale. Like, don't talk about it like furniture, essentially. So I know that doesn't super like directly answer your question. Maybe you could sell them cheaper and frame it in a different way, right? Or like put them together into a collection and frame the messaging as forgotten relics or something like that. I know that's kind of a little cheesy, but you kind of get what I'm saying. You want to be really careful about the story you're presenting and the language you're using when you talk about those pieces of art. But again, that's more for people who have some sort of established following online. But what do you think, Jed?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a tricky situation. It's kind of like, I don't know if I have anything extra to add to that, to be honest. I think that advice is pretty good. like, yeah, you don't want to discount, or cheapen your work,
Yeah.
like, by what you say about it. And one of the things that I've always appreciated about Justin a lot is he's a very positive person, and if you ever listen to him talk about his paintings, you'll never once hear him say anything negative about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just, he's excited about what he does. And so when you talk to him, you're like, oh, that's cool. Like, that's why that painting is so cool, because you painted it here at this time and blah, blah, blah. And it kind of brings you in and makes you value the painting more.
Yeah.
And so I think that the danger of, saying like, oh, well, I've got these leftovers, these leftover paintings, these are the discard paintings that were in the, they're just sitting around for 4 years and I don't know what to do with them. That's not going to appeal to really anybody, right? So I think that you gotta be wise with how you word things and how you think about it, right? How you think about your own work, for sure. But I don't think that directly ties to, you should not lower the price on them, because Justin would say, like, he'll kind of look at a painting, and if, depending on how many people have seen it, how many times it's been shown, like, he kind of has these numbers that he runs where he knows a painting of his should sell, in this amount of time, and if it's seen by this many people. So if it gets to that stage where it's been seen a bunch and it hasn't sold, then he'll, I think that's when he'll think about changing the price on it. Because he goes, well, the market's telling me what it's worth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But he still won't, go and say, here's my discounted painting. He just
exactly
reduce the price, and
reduce the price, take it to a new selling situation.
Yeah.
New people that show up there, they'll have no idea, right? So.
Yeah. You know what's funny, Peter? I'm just realizing this. Every day, every time we do a masterclass and we do a bonus session, we end up talking a fair amount about the business of art. Or,
I know.
Like this kind of thing. I've never really thought about it until right now, but it's interesting.
I know. I thought about that too. Maybe it's something about the specific crowd that hangs out to the end, shows up to every single one.
Yeah. So you can see that one thing that I do in this kind of style often is I leave a little bit of the background showing around. So in this case, the background is kind of that burnt orange look. And I also move if I have a color on my brush, I will go around to various places in the painting and see if it will work. Because if it works in one part of the painting, more than likely it's going to be able to work somewhere else.
Leslie says the business of art is basically unknown to most new painters, so thank you. You are welcome. I'd say even for a lot of people who've been painting for a long time, the business of art is.
That's what I was just thinking. The business of art is mostly unknown to everybody.
Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Mimi,
Okay.
the person who asked about, sorry, just real quick, having a hard time parting with their originals, they said, thank you, Jed. Your words hit home. I feel like I just woke up. Now I can stop selling or see selling my originals as a gift, not only to the buyer, but also to myself. What a serene point of view. Thank you.
Good. That's cool. I like your nickname, Busy Brush. Look,
Yeah.
you might like this. Look at all the brushes I'm holding in my hand. I'm going to drop some of them off in the water. Clean a few out. I always think it's funny though. I'll just add a brush here, add a brush there, and then after a while, I'm holding all these different brushes. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do, Peter? What if we did it? Okay, I'm just thinking here. I want to do two things. I want to say, I'm going to come back into this top section here now. But right before we do, we should just say to people, congratulations, first of all, to everybody who made it through the masterclass. Secondly, congratulations to the people who have joined the membership. It's been super fun to see tons of people coming in and excited. And so for those of you who have joined the membership, you will be joining me tomorrow on a new member orientation. So if you're still sitting there, you're kind of like haven't yet, made that decision, you got about 12 hours left, just under 12 hours. So time's running out. Want you to know that. And whoops. So the other thing is, I'm thinking about, I'll show you. I'll just show you where. Oh yeah, look at this. Okay, so there is. There is the page to go to is right here, acrylicuniversity.com/membership. You can find all the information here. And of course you can, if you go back to the lesson number 3, I do a pretty thorough, we walk through like what's in the membership here. So I'm not going to do it again in that same way. I just want you to know that we've built the entire Acrylic University membership for your growth and for your really being able to thrive as an artist. And we would love to see you come and join us in time so that you can join me tomorrow. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing you guys there. And the other thing I want to do is I want to give myself a little bit of a time limit here, and then I want to show you guys that video that I made on the Epic Art Adventure. So I'm gonna just kind of set my alarm here on my watch for 15 minutes and see what I can get done there. And then
Oh, go ahead.
we'll go ahead, Peter.
I was just gonna say I have to head out around like at 12:30 pretty much. So you can run the stuff after.
Okay, well, you know what I'm gonna do is yeah, that's good. That's perfect. I'll be able to watch. I'll finish with this, and then I'll be able to pay attention to the chat.
Yeah,
So
that
that'll
sounds
be
great.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta take my mom to a doctor's appointment.
Oh, good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're able to.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so what I like about the background in the photograph is I like the variety of trees, and I like how it's actually quite light back there. And so I'm going to kind of accentuate the lightness of the background. So I'm going to do that by bringing in, like we've got these two trees here. They're going to be kind of I think they're going to be kind of like the darker of the trees that are back there. And then pretty much everything else, I think I'm going to actually make a little bit lighter. And hopefully that'll make sense as I get further along in this. Because I'm just going to be doing a ton of negative painting back here. And it'll probably be kind of hard to see at times and a little bit confusing maybe. But hopefully over time it'll make sense.
Someone says I can see why quality of yellow matters in mine versus Jed's right now.
Quality of yellow? Is that what it said?
Yeah, quality of yellow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty universal experience.
Yeah, for sure.
If I signed up for a month, would I learn any negative painting? Yes, absolutely.
Well,
it's interesting.
They're
Yeah,
like,
go ahead.
do you want to learn negative painting? That's my question. Or is that
True.
like, will I have to learn negative painting? Is
True. If you want to learn negative painting, well, I guess whether or not you want to, yes. Jed does a lot of negative painting. So it's interesting now that I think about it, we don't have we've never specifically focused on that with like a specific module, but it's such a big part of Jed's.
Just a couple lessons. I have a couple lessons in there that do.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we do have specific lessons about that, and then also just so many of Jed's painting demos inside the membership, he does negative painting. So
plenty of opportunity to practice it if you'd like.
Yes.
Don't you love it though? I mean, come on. It's got to be like it's so hard, but it's so I just it's kind of so rewarding. And there are some ways to make it easier on yourself, which I've kind of talked about at different points too, which would be like kind of like what I did here. I drew out some of the stuff, but you could take a pencil, you could draw out trees and make it much easier to know where to put brush strokes.
Mm-hmm. Carrie says, I love how you are all for us and our individual growth and success. Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you for being here. It was fun. This would be boring if nobody was here.
For real.
So I'm just going to switch colors again, back and forth in the background. I mean, like I did quite a bit with basically one color, but now I'm trying to add a little bit more variety back there again.
Some people in the chat are saying, bring back Friday Night Lives on repeat, please.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things on Renee, we were just talking yesterday, 2 days ago maybe, and that was one of the things that she has on her list. I think she actually had 1 or 2 scheduled for this fall.
Susan says, or a different night of the week that works for your family. You guys are sweet.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I have a question for you guys that's kind of related to that. Way back a long time ago, before we ever had done one single Friday Night Live, we asked the question, what do you prefer? Do you prefer live content, or do you prefer pre-recorded content? And we were asking, I think, possibly about inside of Acrylic University, but I think we also were kind of talking about YouTube, things like that. I would like to ask that question again. What do you prefer? And obviously what we're doing right now is live. If you believe that we're live, maybe we're not live. Maybe this was all pre-recorded and we've just happened to be able to respond as we anticipated comments in our recorded session. No, but this is live, obviously. But what I'm going to show you later, the Epic Art Adventure video, is not live. And they're very different, very, like one, you can see how one can be live and the other is not, like, it's really not a possibility to make it live. And so, anyways, I really would like to see if you guys have a preference or if you're just going to say both. Live with replay, pre-recorded to fit my schedule. Live is so entertaining.
I love that I can ask questions during live. I also like that Aya does record lessons, but is live to answer questions. Yeah, live with the recording is probably the ideal.
It's definitely more interactive.
It is. Pre-recorded will be fine if it's narrated, says Landis White. That's true. It would be technically a lot easier to just record a bunch of painting demos, schedule them for Friday night, and then wouldn't be the same though.
Well, the thing is that it is different. There's some parts that would be exactly the same. I mean, your guys' interaction with each other, and it would be different in that it would be like we could answer questions, but we wouldn't be answering them live, you know. So it'd be like, these are the 10 questions that we got this week, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Marie Morris, when is our next Connection Circles? Friday, right?
Yep. This Friday.
Let's go.
Yep. Yeah, this Friday is Discover Your Voice. I just finished the demo yesterday. I put it off, but I put it off partly because we were doing something the last little while, weren't we? But sometimes I get them pre-recorded like quite a bit in advance, but I didn't get to this time. So anyways, I did just record that, finish that yesterday. So we'll be doing that Friday at 10. And then at 11:30, once that gets over, we're going to hop into the Connection Circles.
Shelly, I love connections, but I'm a working person with office hours.
Oh, yeah. How are you here?
Lunch? Maybe? Yeah, maybe we can explore. I don't know. I'm not going to say anything, but we listen to you guys.
Yeah.
Kate Shelton, I really like live and the interaction, but I always have to go back to the replay to finish up because I get distracted. For sure. Leslie Galloway, I don't believe is a member. She asks, explain Connection Circles, please.
Oh, that's when we gather in smaller groups as our community, Acrylic University community. And so we can kind of interact with people in Zoom rooms. And it's just a good time. Okay, we're getting pretty close to when my timer is going to go off. And
yes. How are groups picked?
Well, you kind of pick them yourselves generally, actually. And this time what we're doing is we're breaking them up into geographic region.
Yeah.
So depending on where you are and how truthful you want to be, I suppose you could be like, no, I am from wherever.
Very true.
No, I live in Florida, as you're shivering in the cold of North Dakota. Just don't open your window. Let people see where you're coming in from if you've lied about your geographic region. Okay, like this is a little bit crazy right now. I think a little bit crazy. So what I've been planning to do this whole entire time is now to come with a very light color and actually do another round of maybe even 2 more rounds of negative shape painting. So we'll see how this goes, but I've got like just a tiny bit of time, but I want to do a little bit of this so that we can hopefully see a little bit of the end result before it's time to say, well, actually, before we watch that video.
A couple members are asking how you join a group. We sent information out about the circles earlier this week, and there's a link. You should just have to click the link and show up at the time that it starts. We have all the info in that email, and then we break you guys out into groups based on region. So I don't think you have to pick beforehand or anything like that, but check your email for information about that. And then if you're still confused, don't hesitate to email support.
Yeah, but basically you don't get, like I said, when the meeting happens, what I think it will be, and I might be wrong, but this is what's been so far, is that we'll say, okay, the breakout rooms are open, and you will be able to go in to that session, and you'll see like room 1 says, the Southwest, Arizona and New Mexico. That's just my making up. Don't hold me to that. But, and if that's where you're from, you'll go in room 1. If you're in room 2, it would maybe say the Southeast, and it might say like Georgia and Alabama. So you just need to know where you're from, and you probably need to have registered. You might need to have registered, but I think you could just show up. But I mean, we like to have an idea of how many people are going to be there and that kind of stuff, because it's just kind of helpful. But that's how that will essentially work. Okay, I think that I'm going to be done for now, because I know Peter has to go.
I do.
And yeah, but this has been fun. This has been really fun.
It's been really fun.
Peter, have you watched the Epic Art Adventure video? Did you watch it?
Not yet, no.
Oh man, you're gonna miss it.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, well,
I'll definitely.
It's I mean, there's nothing like crazy about it at all, but
It's cool.
look at this.
It's cool. I actually did watch some of the intro and stuff like that, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." So,
Yeah,
but I need to finish it.
spent a lot of time on it, and so I mean, you know how it is. Like, that's like where I wanted to get some feedback from people, is to say like, I don't know, I liked it. It was fun. I don't know what the point is of it exactly. There's a lesson that went with it that the VIP people have that's exclusive to that. But yeah.
Yeah.
You
Awesome.
guys ready for this? We'll say bye to Peter. Peter.
Bye, guys. Love you. I believe in you. Thank you, everybody who showed up today. Don't hesitate to become a member today before enrollment closes if you're able to. And this is just so much fun, like always. So love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.
All right. Love you, Peter. See you,
Love you too,
man.
man.
Have a good rest of the day. Okay, well, let's do this. Are you guys ready for this? I need somebody to give me my magic word. And everybody's saying, bye, Peter, bye, Peter, bye, Peter. Bye, bye, bye. Yeah. Peter's such a good guy. I love that. Yep. Peter. Okay, let's see. Let's see. There it is. Maria. Good job. I love it. Now they're coming in. I love it. You know, it's fun to know that you guys know what will make this happen. Okay. I'm going to start it. It's about 10 minutes long, guys. And if you have time to stay at the end, I would love to get a little bit of feedback from you. Please forgive me if it's boring or if it doesn't make sense or if it feels funny. Anyways, I had fun making it, so here we go. Jed with the Epic Art Adventure. Today I strolled through the picturesque town of LaConner, ventured out to my favorite hidden gem, Secret Cove. I braved a rocky hike, discovered a magical spot where the river kisses the sea. I even did a painting on the bluff with breathtaking views and got an immodest amount of ice cream. So let's dive in and enjoy the journey together. So I am super excited today. We are going to find something beautiful. The sun has just kind of started rising over the hill over here. I'm thinking about going to a little town over here called LaConner. We'll see what we can discover. I just pulled over on this side of the road. You can see it's so beautiful. The sun just coming up over there. It's kind of hazy. Okay, well, as beautiful as it is here, this isn't actually where I was intending to end up today. So let's keep moving. I'm ready to explore. Let's take a look around LaConner. Everything here is quaint. It's old. The architecture is pretty old. This is my hopeful breakfast place, the Calico Cupboard. I can't see when they open. Okay, but look at this. Good morning. Okay, I just got the inside scoop from a couple ladies who are locals. And they told me that that restaurant that I wanted to go to probably doesn't open for another hour and a half. I don't know if that's gonna work. So they pointed me in the direction of another coffee shop over here. They said it opened 40 minutes ago, which is perfect. Doing good. How are you? Good. Awesome. Could I get a... All right, I got my breakfast sandwich. Got my second coffee here, so you don't want to go pain hungry, right? Amazing. Okay, I'm here at the coffee shop with my new friends here. What are your names?
Hannah.
Hannah, Jake. All right, and
Harvey and Roman.
Oh man, they're awesome. Okay. Where are you guys from?
We are from Brownsburg, Indiana.
Indiana. Hey, that was our connection. I saw her back of her shirt and it was Indiana. I'm like, yeah, I lived in Indiana. I'm driving around a little bit. I think that I might try to go on that little hike that I originally had thought of. All right, I really don't know if this is what I should do, but I'm going to just get my stuff, get my paints, and hopefully I have everything that I need. Hopefully I have a tripod. Hopefully it all works out. Hopefully I can carry it all. Hopefully it's not too heavy. You know what? We'll just have to see. But we're doing this together, and it's gonna be a good time, and there's beauty ahead of us. So let's go look for it. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can actually put this somewhere on my backpack or in my backpack so that I don't have to carry it. Man, you think I'm exaggerating, but this backpack, all I know is that, hey, I have an extra free hand now. So that's a win, right? We're counting everything as a win today. Isn't this gorgeous? It's just so beautiful. It's really mossy. Oh, look. Hello, bunny rabbit. Hello. Really cute. There's like a little mountain here. I've never been up there. Can't stop saying wow. This is the Epic Art Adventure. Finding places of breathtaking beauty. Oh gosh. This stick is now my nemesis. Oh man. Okay, look. I think I can go down right here. I just don't want to fall. Again, I should say. Alright. Sheesh. Okay, this is where we came from so far. This is where we're going. Alright. Hey, I made it down to the normal ground, and that means I get to pick up my backpack again. 3, 2, 1. Okay. I'm happy to have my backpack on again. I better get to the beach, or else I won't get there till tomorrow. When we get down to the water, we'll probably hear some boats. But in this part of the forest, it's really still. Basically made it to the top of this overlook. I'm gonna go down to the beach, which is right down that way. Let's take a look at this before we head down there. I've always called this beach Secret Cove. Now that I'm here, I need to figure out what I would try to paint. There's a lot of beauty here, but to create a great painting, you need to get specific. Being here, looking at this and saying, this is incredible. What I need to do is I need to go, okay, what can I look at? What can I paint that I could try to translate the feelings, the experience that I'm having right now and put it onto a canvas so that somebody who hasn't been here can get some of that experience. Well, if I could choose anything to paint, I think I would stand over here and I would paint this scene right here. The only problem with it is that it's a little bit late for me. The sun is coming up. It's going to be over those trees in just 5 minutes. This would be a great place to come and stand an hour ago. I'm going to remember this spot. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a painting from right there. I just picked up the beast and I was trying to walk for a minute here with with it just on one shoulder, and I realized that I'd probably dislocate my shoulder if I try to do that too much. Oh, it's my beautiful wife. Hey, Renee.
Where are you?
Secret Cove. Okay, love you. Bye. My bride. She's so amazing. She's put up with me for over 25 years. Can you believe that? All right, I loaded up the backpack. I realized the only thing that I've drunk today is coffee. And I feel like I might be getting dehydrated. Before we go, just say goodbye to Secret Cove. Secret Cove, I love you. I'll see you next time. Look, it's not water, but there's a little bit in here. It's liquid. I'm so tempted to drink this. Woo, I'm not gonna die. Okay, this is amazing. Happy lunch. All right. So, anyways, yeah, give me some thoughts on that. Give me some thoughts. I'm going to show you. I'm going to switch to. To this again, because I was just doing a little bit of stuff while I was okay. Yeah, that ice cream is so good. It was whatever flavor I said it was. It was like I had to look it up because I couldn't remember the right name. But yeah, it was super fun. So I think yeah, you're welcome. You guys are so nice. You guys are just overly complimentary. Yeah. Like, so the thing that was here, I'm going to go like this, actually, that way you can see that I'm here, but, yeah, like, I feel like, the thing that I had water bottle, I know, and take out about 50 pounds of stuff. That's what I was. Yeah, great. But next time, take water. Snow Goose. Yeah, if you've been there, you know the place. I mean, they have the best ice cream cones. They are very big. It's funny. I mean, they literally advertise them as immodest ice cream cones. So like the thing, I get painted, forget everything around me, water, coffee, whatever, I know. Yeah, good. So like I think that the thing is, it takes a fair amount of effort to make a video like that. And, but what I've wondered about before is just like the idea of, like, years ago, we were thinking about doing something that was a little bit more geared towards kids, like young people. And we kind of decided not to do it, but it got me thinking about this kind of idea about going out and doing an adventure, like exploring an area. And then I saw a couple YouTube videos over the last few months, like last 6 months, different people that had different channels that were very much like, one of them, he just would go out into, an area. He lived in Alaska, but he would go out and he would do just these coolest little adventures. And he'd make a video about the whole thing. And so I started thinking, could I do something like that where I go to a place? And so obviously this one was pretty local, but I was just thinking, like, what would happen if I found, like, so I looked up, like, what are the most scenic places, but then, I was also kind of wondering, like, what's the point of it? What's the point? And I don't know. I don't really know. So that's why it's kind of like, it's a big question for me. Yeah, the plein air setup is kind of cool. I'm glad. However, fast forward to be painting or sketching something. Well, did you see that though? I did do that. But I have the full version also. But I don't know if you saw that part. I love the video. However, I'm just making sure I'm reading it correctly. Yeah, I mean, I did do the painting in there, but you might have just missed it because it was pretty quick. Yeah, well, that's part of it too, is like I was thinking, like, sometimes we can't explore everywhere, but I might have more opportunities to explore places than other people. And I thought, like, if I was going to do it already, it'd be kind of cool to think, well, I could bring people along with me, on a trip like that if I went somewhere. Let's see. Oh man, no. I'm old. I'm older than you think. I'm 49 right now, actually. That's how old I am. Do you have some of these photos on your reference photo pic? Secret Cove is beautiful. No, but the VIP's got a full set of photos from that, because I probably put 40, I don't remember, 30 photos in a set for the VIPs of my favorites from that. But yeah, that's kind of, so like, okay, this is like, because I'm always like thinking about holistic things. My thought was, could I make a video for YouTube that would maybe just be fun, kind of like this, appeal to a lot of people, hopefully. And then could I make a full video, a full reference pack that could go with it, and maybe have how I was saying, a light version of a membership or something, like something that's like much. It's like maybe for somebody who they just want to paint once a month. They don't need, they're not into like learning so much. Like I'm just thinking about I don't know, maybe like a homeschool mom or somebody who's like, our kids would love to paint, but they're not going to like sit through Acrylic 101, and they're not going to do this or that, or, something like where, or somebody who works full time, but, once a month, they would love to take a weekend and sit down and do a painting. And so that was kind of what I was wondering about. But, yeah, I don't know. I have way more questions than, what's the name of the restaurant I ended up at? Man, I had yeah, that was like a little coffee shop. It was super, I can't remember the name of it, but if you go to LaConner, Washington, it's like kind of on the road right as you're coming into town. It's on the right side. How are you videoing your phone? I used my phone for the video at the time lapse of my painting and the full video of the painting, but I have can't remember what it's called right now, but it's like a little GoPro. It's not a GoPro though, but it's something like that. Oh, Would like to have seen more time with you painting. I did enjoy the fast forward. Yeah. Okay. That's helpful. That's helpful. Your thought on evaluating the place. Yeah. Okay. No, see, this is the kind of stuff that I'm thankful to hear, because I would, I can adjust and take more time doing something. Awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, that was what my thought was. In one way, I was thinking about young people, because I was thinking about the exploring of a place, and maybe there's some information about a location, that's kind of interesting. And then I was thinking about people who might not necessarily be able to go out and go on a longer hike or something like that, right? And how you could kind of meet a large group of people with something that could be fun or helpful for them. Oh yeah, I didn't even comment at all while I guess I could have overdubbed something over that. Yeah. Yeah. So your schedule of live workshops. Yeah. That's kind of like these plein air adventure, and that is, it's kind of like they kind of work together. Like I've done a couple sessions where I've gone out and I've done like a plein air painting. It's kind of similar to this one. Was just like I added more to this part of it. Debbie, this bonus session is just going to live here on YouTube. You can come back to it. Just save this link. When I've tried painting outside, the heat or the bugs get me. Well, painting outside is an adventure. You kind of have to just go for it and be okay. No bears, no mountain lions. Yeah, not here. But honestly, where some of the places that I'm thinking about going, yeah, there are bears and mountain lions and stuff like that. And I would definitely need to think about bringing bear spray or figure out how to be safe. Oh yeah, you missed that's how short. It was probably less than a minute of me painting. Yeah, I have a smaller version of that Masterson palette that I use for a lot of stuff, but my setup for that outside kind of thing, I have the big one. But I'm thinking that I'm going to build a custom setup for myself, because I kind of need to. Because honestly, that backpack was so heavy. It was really difficult to carry. And I didn't go on that long of a hike, but it was long enough that it was painful. Anything more, I would definitely want to get something smaller. Yeah, this is the other part. I mean, it's even fun just to go out there and take pictures. You get a lot of stuff. Okay, good. Yeah. I know we do have so much available right here. Not in Bloomfield, LOL. Yeah, it's funny, right? It's like sometimes I'm lucky. I can look out and see amazing thing. It's a vlog, really popular, and helps show your personality. I loved it. Really good pacing, humor, pretty and inspiring. Made me want to go out and seize the day and embrace all the beauty out there. Well, good. Honestly, if there was like an outcome that I would want, I'd want to inspire just that exact thing. Like, just look around us. There's so much out there, and sometimes it's just we just need to give ourselves that permission to do it. I know I drive every morning. I drive into the little town. I drop our daughter off at school, and every morning I think, man, I should stop on the way home. I should stop on the way home and take pictures. And every time on the way home, I'm like, tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And it's like, oh man. And that's honestly why sometimes I think about this kind of thing and go, I need a project. I need projects like this to force myself to go out and do the things that I really want to do. It's crazy. But if that inspired others to go out and do it, man, that'd be so awesome. Yeah, there were so many places. I mean, I could have painted 25 paintings. Yeah, that's why everyone should form a plein air group for sure. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I felt like we were right with you, especially when you fell over. Man, that like I don't know. I was just walking back, and this stick, I felt it, and I tried to lift my foot over the stick, but the stick caught my foot at just the right angle that it lifted with my foot, and I couldn't lift my leg any higher, and I just fell over. It was terrible. It was so fun. Okay, I really like that idea. Would love to try plein air painting, but unsure of how to do it. Yeah. Well, I don't always. It's just that for video, sometimes it's a lot easier. And then I just buy bulk canvases, and so now most of the ones I have are squares. Let's see. Yeah, I mean it's more just because it's fun. It's actually really fun to go out there and paint. Yeah, thanks, Marie. I mean, that's just my words, not her words. Oh, good. That's awesome. See what you're bringing. Yeah, and so like one of the things is I did a similar trip. Let me just think about this. I made a video, or I took videos, trying to say the words that I actually did. I took a bunch of videos last year. I went to a plein air convention, or plein air competition, and I was like, you know what I should do? I should document this whole thing. I should take videos from like before I leave, when I get there. I should show all my setup. I should, video some of the paintings that I do. And I did this whole thing, and I actually uploaded it for a guy to edit and like make. And I don't know what happened to him, because he just never did anything. And then more recently, I've been trying to kind of work on it again. But like in this exact video, I didn't explain anything. I didn't explain my setup or anything like that. But I can imagine how that would be super helpful to see that whole thing. And that's what I did in that other one. So maybe I'll figure out how to do that one. And showing the phases, yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh. Kimball. Oh, interesting. Just thinking. Oh. If you go to acrylicuniversity.store, I'm pretty sure that you will find our store. Is it still not on the top page? Man, I need to add it as a link. I'm sorry if it's not a link. You're very welcome. Have an awesome day. You can get towns to pay you to promo them. I actually thought of something kind of like that. I was thinking, if you did a tour of an area or something like that, it'd be kind of interesting. But I actually just even like the idea of exploring different places, because man, I've explored more places because of painting than I would have otherwise. Like I'm not the kind of person that just goes to random places, But if there's an art reason, I will go. And then you're on the ground walking around looking for a place to paint, and you're seeing all these cool things. I mean, I remember doing that in Indiana so many times where I went all over the state and I did these painting competitions, and I never would have gone to these places if it wasn't for that. But it's so much more than if you just drive through, right? And I think that it is really kind of fun to, I don't know, like video and put it together. These kind of out of a life with them, you just do it and see how and who it resonates with most, then tailor it as you go. But I love the concept. Yeah. Mobility issues, I can't do that kind of trekking, but I felt like I was right with you. That's super cool. Feel like I got some exercise. Good. That's fun. Let's see. I think you're totally onto something. Keep working at it. It's so encouraging. It's fun. Okay, cool. I liked it. I would have even liked it if it was a bit longer. We got to see more detail, even if it's just scouting it out or before or after the plein air session. So what I'm hearing from you guys as a fairly common theme is that while I did mostly random stuff, like, I'm walking around the town and I'm getting coffee and whatever, what it seems like you guys would be more interested in is like some of that, but then taking more time talking about the paint, the setup, when I'm actually doing the painting, even if it's a time lapse, just maybe like slowing it down a little bit or talking over it at different sections to show like why I'm doing something. But what I'm getting generally is just that a little bit more emphasis on the actual painting part of it would be like, just make it a little bit better. Help me understand if that's kind of what you're saying. Okay, I'm like way behind on the comments. So if you think I'm like answering questions that you asked 10 minutes ago, it's probably true. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm like thinking about for sure. I was fascinated by your painting list. I'm sure she would totally love the Epic Art Adventure. That's cool. That's super cool. Oh yeah, looking for what to paint. That part actually, I never really thought too much about that being really interesting, but that's probably one of the hardest parts about plein air painting is choosing what you're going to paint. So that's definitely something that if I'm in a location, I'm always looking around and trying to figure it out. And I could definitely talk through that. Oh, that's awesome, Mel. That makes me so happy. If it is a time-traveling nature of creativity, you begin to experience something. It's the truth that transcends all concern. But the quick cut traveling in a car was a bit hard to watch. Gotcha. Yeah. Well, I think what will be interesting will be like, you guys are helping me kind of understand the stuff that kind of makes it fun or better for you. So I'm going to scroll down to the very bottom. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I liked it all, but make it longer. Yes, Jed, that's it. That's the subject for our Friday group. If we can get into a localized area, that's cool. Just up a shot made from 2 birch boards with hinges. I know. There's some that I've seen that are, I'm not sure if I want to buy one or build another like easel, but I'm definitely like, my easel itself is just it's just too heavy and too big. So I'm probably going to do something there. And then I think that I need to also like minimize I think I will try to bring this smaller, Masterson palette and just anything I can do. I think I was also carrying extra paint with me, which I probably had like a Ziploc bag, like a big Ziploc bag that added a couple pounds. Everything adds up so much, when you just, so Okay, why did you choose a site? Yeah, I think that's super cool. Yes. The setup and how you select the plays especially. I like the loose feeling of it. Just walk until you find a spot. Well, maybe, but really it is kind of cool if you do something like this maybe once a month where you go on an adventure and we just get to enjoy what inspires you and things like that. Yeah. Plein air and tourism, excellent. Do a 10 lesson session with Jed's Art Adventure. One artist, 80 years old, that has been painting plein air for years. She totes her setup around and recommended plein air and Plein Air Pro Artist Field Easel. Okay, cool. I'm going to pay attention to that. I like the random stuff, but evaluating different scenes, lighting, why you pass this on, decided on this one would be the best. Okay. That's over now, Jan. I'm sorry, but the VIP offers ended when we opened the masterclass. As someone who just found you recently and joined for the demo classes, the video was great. Branding and insight into who you are as an artist made me even more inclined to join AE someday. Okay, cool. Well, let's see. That was really fun. Could I stayed? Oh, glad I stayed for the bonus video. Good. Yes, more on the painting, but I like Jed in the Wild. Yes, I think that's it. Yes, I love the paint magically disappearing from the palette. Yeah, that's funny. I love the pace of it personally, but within a vlog series, you could totally have variety. Some could be more scenic and funny and random like this one. Others can be more instructional. Yeah. What's so fascinating about doing plein air painting is to see the light change from the time. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that, but in the one that was, you saw me painting like a little ways away, you could just see the shadows. They totally shifted. Okay. There's a class on AU. Yeah, we do have a class that walks through the setup that I have now, and it does show everything. Yes, how to set up all the basics. Okay, use a pillbox. Talking through why you're picking what you're picking to paint. Yeah. Like painting indoors, but love taking photos out the door. Yeah, I know. It's different. Last week I used acrylic for a plein air demo. 4-4. Oh yeah, cool. That's awesome. Honestly, I love it. No man. Thanks for your kindness. That's awesome. Okay, Plein Air Pro, very light and easy to work with. I love it. Well, the easel that I have right now is a, what do you call it? I can't remember right now. But there's a new version of it that is lighter, and I'm considering getting it. But it's on back order. You have to like wait 6 weeks to get it. So anyways, guys, I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for hanging out, and thank you for all your feedback. I really appreciate it. You know, I don't always know what to do. Your feedback helps me think through things and weigh like what's of interest and all that. So want you to know you are loved and believed in. If you're on the fence, you want to join, today's the last day to join the Acrylic University membership. But if you have already joined, I will see you tomorrow in the new member orientation. And then on Friday, we have Discover Your Voice with me and the connection circles right afterwards. So love you guys. Have an awesome rest of the day, and we will see you very